Guy, huge day for the market here. Market and look, the close yesterday was on the S&P. We hadn't closed through the 100-day on the S&P to the downside since February 25th, which was really just the start of the cascade. And I don't mean the laundry detergent and by the way, that commercial, you could not run that today. Okay. Is that Calgon? Sorry.
You're thinking of Calgon Take Me Away.
Calgon Take Me Away.
Calgon Take Me Away. That's like, the bath suds you put in and you get in your tub and maybe you're playing some tunes. Cascade is what you put in your dishwasher, your Bosch dishwasher.
I have a Bosch
sort of
dishwasher.
Bougie,
I do have a Bosch. Thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah.
But what was the commercial for the guy that hears in the back room at the place where he's bringing his laundry that they're using the detergent that got the shirts extra white, and it was an ancient secret?
Right. Sure. Yeah.
I'm so scared to say anything in this world that I'm just going to.
I remember that. No, that's taboo now. I mean, yeah. But anyway, I think so. You're talking about Calgon on the one hand, which we talked about. That's not Cascade is for the dishwashing, but I think you're looking for laundry detergent, and it escapes me the commercial you're speaking about. But we may get a cleanse. Watch what I did here. Later tonight, when we hear from, we're going to hear from obviously Facebook, Apple, Amazon, Google, the big four, which is just, if you think about
17% of the S&P is going to report.
Incredible.
And if you think about, jumping the shark, a term we've used on this show. And by the way, that Henry Winkler, who wore the leather as he jumped the shark, is a huge fan of this show. And
I know for a fact, you say that in jest. I happen to know for a fact that he is. And real quick, I know, but I've actually, Happy Days is now on one of these, like, Me TV or something. And I've watched a few of them. The early Happy Days, season 1, 2, 3, as opposed to season like 8 and 9.
Yeah,
it got there. Night and day. It's brutal. The last couple of years, they were hanging on by the proverbial thread. Like, effectively, the market is right here. But anyway, I digress. Sorry.
What's the fourth show that was spun out of Happy Days? You obviously have Laverne and Shirley. You obviously have
I'll tell you exactly what you have. The Robin Williams one. The Robin Williams, Mork and Mindy.
Mork and Mindy. Yeah.
See what I did there? Because Mork somehow found his way into,
What'd
Milwaukee.
You think about Mindy? What'd you think about Mindy?
A lot of time. What was her name?
Pam?
Pam Dow? No, Pam something. But nice poll. Nice job with the Pam part.
Yeah.
But she never was hurt. Mork and Mindy, that was it for her.
Hard to believe.
Pam Dauber.
Pam Dauber. Where'd that come from?
Wow. I don't know. I was going through my mental Rolodex.
You must be on a cleanse or something, man. You only pull that stuff if you're actually living clean and doing good things, man. I think you're cleansing right now. Let's get back to the market, because when they did jump the shark, it seems to me that going into this quarter, the bar is so high and the expectations significant for these companies, and frankly, at a time when the market's not in a position to lose that leadership.
Yeah.
It concerns me. And what we saw in the market yesterday, and what we've seen out of the market over the last really 2 weeks, but it's totally tied to an escalation of COVID. And I know there's a lot of politics, but it just seems to me as if we've been here before. You've had this moment where, you knew that there were problems. You knew there were problems around the world. You saw that Europe was ticking up in terms of their cases. And now suddenly, yesterday, you've got Germany and France on full lockdown. And it's, the reversal on restaurants and whatnot in Chicago. And it's just a matter of time here. So does the market do the same thing? And while we're going into our tangents, do you have a favorite? Either we've seen this before, or we won't get fooled again.
Well, that's it.
That's
it right there. Won't get fooled again. That's the Who sort of at their pinnacle, as opposed to the Who. It's hard, or Athena and those. Just rough.
Yeah.
Don't let go of the coat. 81,
what?
82 who lost their way.
Well, Face Dances wasn't that bad of an album. The It's Hard one was terrible, and the haircut that Pete Townsend had on that album cover, where he had like a clipper cut, dude, he looked horrendous. He sold out, man. I mean, that was I know it was new wave and stuff like that, and the Who were trying to stay cool. By the way, I mean Pete was going through some very difficult times with his battle with the bottle. And I don't mean to make light of that. I don't think that had to have affected his hairdo though. And those were awful times for Who fans. They are my band. I've said that. They're certainly one of my dominant
But
bands.
I'll say this: I happen to think Empty Glass, as far as a solo album,
incredible.
I mean, incredible.
One of the
album.
best. Look, Pete Townsend's solo projects, as we like to term. Look, I'm a musician guy. When I go off and do a solo project, it's what it is, you know.
Right.
And Empty Glass. What's the one with the slit skirts?
All the best cowboys have Chinese eyes, which
Chinese
is a
eyes.
Tremendous. They do a version of North Country Girl in that album that's just
it actually gets me weepy.
unbelievable.
It gets me weepy. And also just need to acknowledge Rough Mix, which is Pete Townsend and Ronnie Lane from the Faces. That was Ronnie had a disease that I think took his life ultimately. But that was one of his
and
later
of course,
works.
you know, then Ron Wood was obviously a member of Faces, as was the great, you know, Rod Stewart should have been Faces and then boom.
Hold on. You know what you just did there though, I think you didn't mean to do that. You mentioned Rod Wood, but then you mentioned Rod Stewart. And the amazing thing about Rod Stewart and Ron Wood is, has anybody seen them both in the same place at the same time? Because if those dudes aren't the same guy, I mean, down to the same, like the whole, like they are also that just open up the dictionary for British rocker. And I mean, the hairdo, like the bad haircuts, the bad skin, sorry, man, bad complexions, big hooters. And I mean the nose and you know, I mean, anyway, sorry.
But I tell you that, you know, that
How did we get here?
Spirit,
how did we get here?
We went from the Who. I mean, it's the way our minds work. It's not a good thing. We go down a rabbit hole. Sometimes we extract ourselves, and other times we continue to go farther down it.
So let's instead of going back into some hole, where are we going to be tomorrow, do you think, after this day?
Look, I mean, the one thing I've been worried about, you've brought it up, you know, the VIX has been stubborn. And when I say stubborn, you know, you're talking about a VIX that's been bounced off 21.5, was stubborn around 28, despite the fact that the market had been rallying. And now yesterday you have a VIX that closed either side of 40. Last time we saw that was early June. And that's a 40 VIX tells you something. You need these companies to really come out and say something. And to your earlier point, although they've been repriced, obviously, from their all-time highs, all of them, they're coming off quarters that were staggering. So the comps off last quarter are going to be difficult, to say the least. So I don't know the answer to that question, but you better hope that they say some good things in the next few hours, Tim.
Well, if they don't, I think it could be not Teenage Wasteland, of course, because that's not the name of the song.
No, it's not.
But and if I said it's not going to be Bob O'Reilly, it won't make any sense. But I don't want to come on the amazing journey here, because I actually think that the journey for the next 10 days is going to be tough. And I think there's very little reason, unless you get an outcome in this election that I don't think anybody's expecting, that markets need to settle down with COVID spiking higher. I just want to leave it with a positive note, because I'm that kind of a guy. I think you have a case here where the Fed is very much still intact. Markets can get oversold in a hurry, and I think you've got a case where there is a dynamic here where you started to see certain parts of the economy, if given a progression on COVID, that can come out of this. I think we've seen some of this before, and I actually think that markets are looking for an opportunity to find that base, but I don't think it's here.
Let's hope, my man. And congratulations to Justin Turner, ex-Met, who the Mets just sort of gave away, and the LA Dodgers for emerging victorious 2 nights ago.
Would you take a hug from Justin right now? Would you take a hug?
No.
I wouldn't either. I mean, but obviously they all shacked together, and we're very happy to bromance. And for all we know, there was an elephant walk in the locker room. I don't know. But
just on that note, I think we talk about this later.
Bye.
See ya.